WION has been closely tracking the G7 summit in France, and we begin this newscast with some live visuals coming in from Biarritz in France, where US President Donald Trump is currently meeting with Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The two leaders are slated to discuss a host of issues, including military and strategic cooperation. Let's listen in to the US President.
We're going to know who the Prime Minister is going to be fairly soon. It's happening along. That was a complicating factor. I think the Palestinians would like to make a deal. As you know, I cut off most funding to the Palestinians, a lot of funding. And I think they'd like to get it back. I think they'd like to make a deal. We'll see what happens. Nobody's ever done that before. They used to negotiate paying a fortune of money, $750 million. They pay. And they'd be treated with disrespect, but they keep paying. This went on for years. So I don't believe in that. We cut off their funding, a lot of it. And we'll see what happens. But I think they want to make a deal, the Palestinians, and I think Israel would like to make a deal too. I think people, after so many years and decades, I think they're a little tired of fighting. Even he gets tired of fighting. Him, I'm not sure about. I think he always wants.
So you're confident that it's going to be released right after the Israeli election?
Oh, I don't. You mean the deal?
The peace plan, yes.
No, of course not. It won't be before the election. I don't think.
No, after the election.
But I think you may see what the deal is before the election. And I think the deal will happen. But everybody says that that's a deal that can't be made. They always refer to that deal. Israel and the Palestinians. There's tremendous hatred for many, many decades. And everybody says that is a deal that cannot be made. So we'll see if we can make it.
Mr. President, when did President Macron tell you he was going to invite?
I don't want to comment on that, but I knew he was coming in, and I respected the fact that he was coming in, and he met with President Macron, and Iran has got a very difficult situation. They're in a position that's not a very good position from the standpoint of economics, and that's okay, because we can clear that up very quickly. I'm looking to have a really good Iran, really strong. We're not looking for regime change. You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good. And we're looking to make Iran rich again. Let them be rich. Let's let them do well if they want. Or they can be poor as can be. Or they can be like they are now. And I'll tell you what, I don't think it's acceptable the way they're being forced to live in Iran. And what we want is very simple. It's got to be non-nuclear. It's got to be non-nuclear. We're going to talk about ballistic missiles. We're going to talk about timing. We're going to talk about the length of the agreement, which, as you know, it expires in a very short period of time. I mean, the agreement that President Obama made expires in a very short period of time. What kind of an agreement is that? He paid $150 billion for a short-term agreement. He'd like to have $150 billion for a short-term. He'll do that deal. Plus, he gave him $1.8 billion in cash. Where's your finance minister? Finance minister, which one? Please explain to him. $1.8 billion in cash. Will you take it? Egypt will take it.
Mr. President, what's the next step then with Iran? From your perspective?
Well, we'll see what happens. It's all very new. They're under a lot of financial stress. He put sanctions. Secretary of the Treasury is here right now, and he's really very expert at what he does, and he's done a very effective job. They used to say that, look, we are the largest economy by far in the world. When I became president, we were heading to be the second largest. China was going to overtake us. Not going to happen. Not going to happen anytime, I'll tell you when I'm here. Can't happen. We've picked up $20 trillion in worth, and China has lost $20, $25, $30 trillion in worth. We're now almost double the size of the economy. If I hadn't won, our economy now would have been overtaken by China. And all these clowns that are sitting on television that have been running this government for many years, that have been taken to the cleaners by China, they're all sitting there saying, well, I don't think the president is negotiating properly. They don't know what they're talking about. I have great respect for the fact that China called, they want to make a deal. I have great respect. And I have great respect for President Xi. And I think we're going to have a deal because now we're dealing on proper terms. They understand and we understand. But that's a great thing that happened. And they want to get something done. Now, maybe it won't get done, but this is the first time I've seen them where they really do want to make a deal. And I think that's a very positive step. And as far as Iran is concerned, That was with great respect. And I spoke to President Macron yesterday, and I knew everything he was doing, and I approved whatever he was doing, and I thought it was fine. And I think it's too soon to meet. I didn't want to meet. I said, I don't want to meet right now, but it's soon going to be time to meet with Iran, and it's going to be a great thing for Iran. They have a great potential. Iran has great potential. You know who else has great potential? North Korea. Kim Jong-un. And under his leadership, North Korea has great potential. And I don't think North Korea wants to blow it. Because if they blow it, it won't be good.
You didn't want to meet with Zarif, but did you send a message to him on Iran?
I don't want to comment on it. I can't comment.
Are you considering French wine tariffs, Mr. President? Is that a possibility?
Am I going to tariff French wine?
Yes.
Well, it depends on the deal we work out on the digital tax.
And what's the status of that?
We're negotiating right now.
Exactly, Ron, sir. Are you willing to waive oil sanctions in order to get Iran to the table?
I'm not going to tell you what I'm willing to do, but Iran has a chance to really build themselves up and be a very great nation, greater than before. But they have to stop terrorism. That is your number one nation of terror. Now, not in the last year and a half, 2 years, because they can't spend like they used to spend. They took President Obama's $150 billion and they doled it out to terrorists all over the place. And I think they're going to change. I really do. I believe they have a chance to be a very special nation. I hope that's true.
Mr. President, can you speak about the trade deal with Japan? Many are commenting that the Japanese Prime Minister seemed less enthusiastic than you. Can you ensure that he's actually on board with this?
Well, you have to understand, he's a friend of mine, one of my closest friends. In this world, he's one of my closest friends. They send us millions and millions of cars. They have for many years. They're essentially not taxed. So they send them in from Japan. They're essentially not taxed. And my first step with Japan was to say, you have to move car companies into the United States. And they did. Many car companies are now operating plants in the United States and building plants in the United States. Because we have had over the years a tremendous trade deficit with Japan. But we have a lot of cards with Japan. Number one is my relationship with Prime Minister Abdel. So I don't think we have to use the cards. But the ultimate card is they send us millions and millions of cars. Essentially, it's 2.5%, but there's ways of getting around it. Essentially, non-tariff free. Now, if I want to put tariffs on those cars, I'd make so much money for this country, your head would spin. So, yeah, he's going to make the deal. I feel pretty certain about that. That's what I do. We have cards. Now, that's the thing that people didn't understand. He knew this a long time ago. We have the cards. We're the big piggy bank that everybody's been robbing for 35 years. We have all the cards. But we never played it because we never had a president that understood this. And we never had an administration or trade negotiators that understood it.
Are you planning to eventually take off the 2.5% auto tax?
Nobody's ever asked me that question but you. Why would I do that? Tell me why. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're getting there, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Finally starting to get it, Joe.
Thank you, Press.
So that was the U.S. President Donald Trump in a meeting with Egypt's President Abdel, el-Sisi. He touched upon Iran and said that the U.S. wants a non-nuclear deal and that Iran must stop terrorism. He also touched upon trade tensions with China and said that he saved the U.S. economy from being toppled. On Iran, it's important to reiterate that he spoke about a non-nuclear deal with Iran that he's been hoping for. He has also stated that he wants Iran to stop terrorism, demanding that Iran must become a better nation to strike better terms with the United States. He also insisted on having a deal with President Xi Jinping. But at the same time, he emphasized on the fact that it was the U.S. president who saved the U.S. economy from being toppled by China. On the denuclearization of North Korea, this is what Donald Trump had to say, that North Korea has great potential and that at no cost would he want North Korea to blow up the chances that they have of salvaging the Korean Peninsula.
If I hadn't won
And let's not forget, all these statements are coming in from the much-awaited bilateral meeting that has just taken place between the U.S. President and the Egyptian President, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. They are here to discuss military and strategic partnership and cooperation. Do stay tuned to WION for all the latest updates from the G7 summit in France.